Obviously very happy to win. Proud of our team. I thought did a nice job, came out, especially I thought, both sides of the ball, but offensively started really well. I thought Jordan Brookshire, Greg Bell, our offensive front, and then getting Bellinger involved in getting him touches early was something we wanted to do, and I think that really worked out well, obviously, for us. Played well for the half and didn't quite match where we needed to be in the second half. So, a week ago we played good in the second half. This week we played good in the first half. We got to put a game together, and that's going to be important. And we thought this would be a good test for us, and it was. But I think our improvement from last week to this week, you watch our kickoff team, and Matt does a great job, but every guy goes all the way through the end zone, and that's something that you may say, well, that's trivial. It's not. It's being disciplined in what we want to do. Speaking of disciplined, really need to have a good talk with our football team because we had too many penalties. And we got to respond better at times. But, from that standpoint, we'll take care of that and move forward.
Thank you so much, Coach Hoke. Let's open it up with questions. First off, Kurt Kenny.
Hey, Brady, where do quick starts come from like that for the offense, and how does that help Jordan Brookshire get comfortable early on?
Yeah, I thought it was a good plan. How they happen, I wish I could tell you, because if I knew Kirk, I would, do it every time. But I just thought we had a good plan. Not that we didn't have a good plan last week. I think our offensive line responded. I think some of the plays getting Dan Bellinger involved was something that was a little different and they hadn't seen.
Also, I want to ask you about a few weeks back, I think you mentioned Kagan Williams shining on special teams, and then he does that tonight. And then also Shavers. Can you speak to two guys who aren't getting a lot of catches or carries, and how they can still make an impact on the game?
Yeah, Kirk, those two guys are just absolutely and especially with Tyrell Shavers being new to San Diego State relatively, but they're both guys who have a lot of self-pride and a lot of pride in what we're doing as a football program. And Williams, he's a great guy to have on your football team, not just from the fact that, he did a nice job at the end of the game for us, but what he does on those teams, and I think a lot of that, Kirk, comes from, what Coach Hort preaches down in that room.
And the last thing, what did you guys do on defense to neutralize the quarterback so much this week compared to what you had done last week?
Well, from a throwing the ball standpoint, two different quarterbacks, two different systems. I think defensively, we had a few change-ups, not many. Most of it was what we've done since day one. And so I think the guys played hard. The whole secret is getting 11 guys to play as hard as they possibly can.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Kirk. We'll go over to Ben Fletcher.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win.
Thanks, Fletch.
Yeah. So talk a little bit. You said it over and over again. The biggest improvement you see is from week 1 to week 2 with the college football team. Is that what you saw tonight? Yeah,
I think it, Fletch. I really think it was. I think how our guys responded, how they came out. Really liked how we addressed the game. In saying that before the game, I thought did a nice job and was really excited about their preparation. So it was it was good to see them come out and make some positive plays and play together as a football team.
How nice was it seeing Jordan get the job done through the air tonight?
Well, it was great. We talked about how he worked in the spring and fall camp, and he just did a tremendous job there. So really happy for him.
Thanks, Coach. Congrats.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. Now we're off to Paul Garrison.
Coach, congratulations again on the win.
Thanks, Paul.
Today was Aztec football, incredibly physical, both sides. Could you just speak to the culture of the Aztecs and how that traveled and you were able to take it to them tonight?
Well, our kids take a lot of pride. Our players take a lot of pride in our culture and being tough. And I think they know that's a standard and an expectation. We have Tuesday for us is toughness Tuesday, where we do our inside drills and just how we practice. So really how they've handled the culture.
I know you're supremely confident in your abilities as a coach, but is there any part of you that feels a sense of relief or just satisfaction in telling us for a year that this offense was capable of what it showed in the first half, and to do it against the Pac-12 opponent? How does that feel post-game?
Well, it feels good. But and I know as coaches, we're going to pick every little thing out of it to see where we made some mistakes and what we can do better. So from that standpoint, yes, it was better. Is it where it needs to be? No. Paul, we've got a pretty good opponent coming in this weekend, right? And we need Aztec Nation. We need everyone that we can get who bleeds that red and black up to Carson, because it's going to be a heck of a football game. So hopefully we can get that done. We've got to make the positive improvements, take some of the negatives out, and go forward.
There's a narrative that Power 5 schools have an advantage in depth, and that shows up on special teams, but clearly your team won that phase tonight. And for 2 weeks in a row had great special teams play. Just talk about Coach and what he does and how you were able to, win that phase today.
Yeah, well, Doug does a great job. Deacon does a great job. Coach Deacon does. But, I think because of some of our depth, which we have at some positions, I think the willingness of our running backs, and we were talking about Keegan, but they're all, involved in special teams and in our wide receivers. Dan Bellinger, he's on our punt team. I mean, so all those guys, Laka and Trent Thompson and Hawkins, I mean, that makes the difference. And what makes the difference, Paul, is the younger guys. They see, oh, that guy's a starter, right? He's starting, but he's on special teams. So it's a message that, and an expectation standard that it goes from one guy to the next.
Great.
Thank you, Paul. Up next, Jason.
Hi, Coach. Thanks for stopping by again. Congratulations on the victory. I wanted to kind of build off what was asked earlier about the Pac-12 teams. This team is now, since the start of 2016, SDSU is now 6-2 against Pac-12 opponents. Is it any different beating a team from the Pac-12 conference, or is it different to like when you're beating a team from a different conference when it comes to non-conference games?
You know what I would tell you? It doesn't matter who we play. We just want to win. We want to prepare to win. I've been doing this a long time, and I've always looked at it not as much. I probably did ask a couple of the kids if Arizona offered them a scholarship, and obviously they didn't, and so I remind them of that. But to be very honest with you, we just want to go out and play our best football. If we keep improving week to week, then we're going to be a pretty good football team.
Thank you. And with such a big lead that was built by the time you got to the fourth quarter, you were able to cycle in some of your second teamers back into the game. How important was it for these players to get these kind of snaps during game time?
No, I think it's always beneficial, for those guys. If they get some opportunities in there, there's no doubt that I think it's really positive and positive for them down the road.